Hi everyone, and welcome to your TheraTrain Warm-Up. So the three biggest factors that place us at risk for injury before any workout or sport is decreased ankle mobility, decreased hip mobility, and decreased hip strength. Two other really important factors are our posture and our spinal mobility. So this warm-up hits everything. If you or your athlete perform this before your workout, your sport, your practice, your game, you will improve your joint mobility, you will improve your muscle output or strength, but most importantly, you will decrease your risk for injury. This warm-up is quick, it's effective, it takes less than 10 minutes of your time, and all you need is the ground or the floor to perform it on. Let's get started. Our first 5 moves in this warm-up is going to be prone press-ups, frog into lumbar extensions, cat-cow, thread the needle, and thoracic rotations. So we're starting with my very favorite movement, repeated extension in line or a prone press-up. Your toes are turned in, hands are right underneath your shoulders, everything's relaxed as you press up. Exhale at the top. That was 5 reps there. Now we're going into frog position, so your knees should be wider than your hips. Stretch back into a child's pose, and then up into lumbar extension again. So this really just helps to open up the hips and stretches some of the muscles in your back. We're doing 3 repetitions here. Last one. And then we're going into cat-cow. So you're going to get in 4-point or quadruped position. You're going to round your back as much as you can, head goes down. Then you're going to go into thoracic extension as your head looks all the way up. So round, and then let the back sink in. Inhale as you round as far as you can. Exhale and let everything sink as you look up. 3 reps right there. Now we're going into thread the needle, but we're going to get those adductors and the inner thigh too. So you're reaching across with your opposite arm and then up towards the sky as far as you can. You're following your hand with your gaze the whole time. So we're getting thoracic rotation and neck rotations as well. 3 repetitions here, and now we're switching to the other side. So right leg goes out, foot is flat on the ground, reaching with that left arm up, and then opening as far as you can. You should really feel this in the inner thigh and your thoracic spine. This is a great movement to help open everything up. Okay, our last move in this part of the warm-up is going to be thoracic rotations in a half nail position. So you're going to start in that prayer position. Arm goes all the way up and back like a windshield wiper, and then back to that start prayer position. Same thing at this one. Follow your hand with your gaze. You'll notice it's a good balance challenge as well. All right, go ahead, switch sides. Now right leg goes in front, prayer pose, and then right arm reaches up and over, making a rainbow or windshield wiper movement. Last repetition here. Excellent. From here, we are going to go into a combat or ankle stretch, into tibialis raises, half kneeling hip flexor stretch into hamstring stretch, 90-90, hip abduction, and open book. So with this one, you're aiming your knees over your toes, then lifting your toes up to get that tibialis raise. Gaze is straight ahead, back is straight. And now you're going to switch sides. Notice how I turn my back foot in. It just makes sure that my back leg is not limiting how far I go forward onto that front ankle. So lean as far forward and then lift those toes up. Good, and I'm using my hands to get that little bit of extra pressure to get the knees over the toes. From here, we're going into that hip flexor stretch, so back stays straight. And then you lean back onto your left leg, the right leg is out in front, and then you rotate the foot from side to side. So really lean forward in that right leg to stretch the left hip flexor, then back and stretch the right hamstring. Lean forward. You can notice your heel can come up a little bit on that front leg, and then rotate side to side. Good, we're switching sides. The rotation with that hamstring stretch, just make sure you hit all heads of the hamstring when you're stretching in that position. Lean back, rotate out, and all the way in. So again, that rainbow or windshield wiper. Lean back, rotate. We're hitting the muscles in all planes with this warm-up. It's quick and effective. Last time, rotate out and then in. Perfect. From here, we're going into that 90-90 hip opener. So that front leg is out in front of you, hips at 90 degrees, knees at 90. You lean forward and that back foot comes up. Then you're going to rotate to the other side into the same position and then back and forth. So this really helps to open up the hips into internal and external rotation. Really try to keep your trunk straight and lean straight forward over that front knee, and the back leg lifts up. Good. Pay attention when you're doing all these. See which side feels tighter, because at the end I might have you pause and pick 2 exercises that felt the most tight so you can address those imbalances. From here, we're going into an open book with a windshield wiper, or rainbow. Arm goes up and down. You can see hip and knee is bent to 90 degrees. Following with your gaze, rotate all the way up, all the way down. One more time on this side. So this really helps to open up that thoracic spine and also your shoulder. Perfect. Switching to the other side, I'm just showing you a different angle here. Hips and knees are at 90 degrees. Prayer position, open up, follow with your gaze, rotate up and all the way down. Back to that prayer pose. Open up, bring that arm up, down, back together. One more time. Our last move in this part is going to be a sideline hip abduction to get some muscle activation in that gluteus medius. You want it firing when you're doing all of your workouts in sports. So the hip is slightly extended, toes are pointed forward, and you kick that top leg up at about a 45-degree angle. We're doing 10 repetitions on this side and then switching to the other side. Stomach is tight, try not to let your back rotate back or forward. You should really feel this in the top of your bottom. I'm going to show you in this position right where my thumb is at. That's your gluteus medius. That's where you should feel it. If you don't feel it there, extend your hip a little bit further. 10 repetitions here. Excellent. All right, the last part, we're going full plank into a downward dog. Deep squat stretch, standing neck extensions, shoulder external rotation and internal rotation, and a low back stretch. So we're getting set in that plank position, rock steady, then back into downward dog. We're going to do a pump on each ankle, rotate the hips from side to side to get those obliques, back into that sturdy plank. You can see gaze is straight down, back is straight, then bottom goes up, pedal it out, rotate, and back into that full plank. Completely straight spine. Helps activate our core and low back muscles before any workout. Pedal it out. You should feel this all the way down the back of your legs and then here on the side of your trunk. Perfect. Come up into standing, and we're going to go down to that deep squat stretch. Good. You're in the prayer position. Your elbows are pushing out against your knees, and you're going to rotate from one side to the other. Come back out of it for a second, back in, push your elbows out, and rotate. If this one is hard, just widen your feet a little bit. If you can't get down, it's either your calves are too tight or your hips are too tight. So this warm-up and workout will actually help you achieve this eventually. That last rep, you can see I'm coming up onto my toes to add the challenge, and then all the way out of the move. Now we're going into our neck stretches. So you're doing cervical retraction into extension and then rotating your head in a no movement. See, I'm tilting my head no. My nose is making, again, that rainbow or windshield. And I'm just showing you from all different directions so you make sure you're doing it right. Extend, rotate, no. Now from here, we're going to go into shoulder external rotation. So you pinch those shoulder blades back first. Arms will follow. 3 reps there, and now we're going right into internal rotation. Perfect. So top arm comes down and back arm reaches up as high as your back as you can. You might notice your dominant arm is going to be a little bit tighter like mine. This might be one of those movements that you want to spend a little bit of extra time on. at the end of the workout, especially if you're an overhead athlete. All right, last part of this warm-up. We're moving our back in all directions. You're going to go end range flexion, bend back as far as you can, and then you're going to glide your hips straight to one side, straight to the other. This is a great movement, but if you feel restrictions anywhere, it might mean you have something going on in your back. Otherwise, this is just a great way to warm up the spine in all planes. Last one, bend all the way forward, bend all the way back as far as you can, glide your hips one way and the other. Amazing, that's it. Like I said, if you felt one side tighter than the other or two exercises that really stood out as challenging, go ahead, hit that pause button now and repeat those two exercises that felt the most restricted. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.